Coming up this week on Buyer's Guide, we help a family man choose between the Volvo XC90 and a Land Rover Discovery for the ultimate 7-seater SUV.
We meet a first-time buyer who's considering a high-mileage Honda Jazz. Is it a deal or a disaster waiting to happen?
And later, we tackle the truth behind Ford's EcoBoost engines, plus help a viewer decide between a BYD Shark and a Land Rover Defender.
Hello and welcome to Buyer's Guide. We're here to answer your motoring questions from first-time purchases to expert upgrades. With us today, two familiar faces, Mark White and Alan Rosenmeyer. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Okay, let's start off with Sean. Now, he owns a 2022 VW Tiguan All-Space 1.4, but needs a roomier 7-seater for his family of 6. He's comparing the 2021 Volvo XC90 and a Land Rover Discovery, both around 750,000 Rand, which offers the best reliability and low running costs. And what should he look out for before buying? Mr. White, you should know about this. Is it
Mr. White,
worthwhile, those two cars?
Before you go on, Adam, he did mention, though, which is very important, the rear fold-down seats or the back row of seats must be able to accommodate older kids or adults, which is not something we regularly look at. I like that question.
Yeah.
So, Mr. White?
The question is, can those back seats take regular
that's
adults?
the question.
And the answer is no.
Not in either of those.
Not
areas.
really. So he says that they're all under the age of 9 though, at the moment.
Yeah,
But when they
5 years'
get
time,
bigger,
they'll be
that's
15.
where he's thinking he'll be changing again.
Yeah.
So these are fine if he's going to keep it for 4 years. The kids will fit in those back seats, but then obviously in 4 years' time he must trade again. And which one should he buy out of those two, if that's his only choices, or maybe look at something else that might be a little bit more better value for money? Because obviously 2021 models running out of warranty and protection and high costs of
Expensive
repairs
maintenance costs
on both.
Let's ask Alan. Alan, is there something else that you would throw in here besides those two, the XC90 or the Discovery?
If he's worried about the space for the third row, then maybe he should be looking more at an MPV or bus than one of these, for that exact reason. And I've just had the Ford Tornado on test, for example.
Yeah.
Now, not only has that got space, but you can slide both rows of seats.
Yeah.
Tons of room in the back in both rows.
But that's out of his budget, because his budget's 750.
That's why I put him in the Staria.
The Tornado starts at 1.1 million.
They're new, but there was the previous generation. I'm sure he could get into one at that kind of money. Staria probably is starting to get down to that money now. Segi?
Yeah.
With the Hyundai Staria.
Yeah.
But or you can look at a second-hand Palisade, which is way bigger than the XC90 and the Discovery.
And he would get longevity.
Yes.
Because he can maybe keep the car longer. As they get older, the kids will still fit. Then he doesn't have to change again.
So he stole my notes, because I wrote here.
No, I didn't.
You did. Palisade, Staria. And online you can buy the Hyundai Palisade, which actually, I know it's a quirky looking car from the outside, it's a bit Americanized. It's a really good car to drive. It's full of amazing features. It's, I think, a much better vehicle. You will get better value for money than you will get on the Land Rover Discovery. And this is, I own a Land Rover Discovery, so I'm
absolutely.
you got more space in it. The XC90, although it's a great, luxurious car, I think long-term, your Palisade or your Staria will be they both run on the same mechanicals and everything. They're good, reliable mechanicals. Plus, if you look at the warranty that you're getting out of a Hyundai nowadays, it's
7 years.
7 years,
So you'll get something with warranty.
Yeah, so you buy a 3-year-old one or a 2-year-old one, I think you'll get a newer one with less mileage than you will on an XC90 and a Land Rover. You'll get it at a better deal. You get a newer one, and you'll still have lots more warranty with that vehicle.
And lots more space.
And lots more
Yes.
space.
On both others.
And the one thing he'll get most definitely with the Palisade and the Staria is the maintenance costs, reliability and maintenance costs.
Yeah, and one more just to throw in there, the Kia equivalent of the Palisade, which is
Sedona,
The Carnival.
the Carnival or the Sedona.
Or the Sedona.
Yeah.
One of those two. Also, so have a look at those. Throw those on your bucket list and go and have a look at it.
Okay. Next is Ruan, who's been driving a 2006 Toyota Tazz and wants to upgrade to a new Suzuki Swift 1.2 GL Plus manual. She's after something affordable, fuel efficient and easy to live with, on a budget of 230,000 Rand. Is the Swift a smart move for someone used to Toyota reliability? Should I stop this question now and just give an answer?
You can.
She won't get anything better than the Swift.
Yeah.
In that budget? Okay, next question, Adam.
Right.
Let's also, I guess, Alan,
No, look, the Swift,
good replacement for
I think,
Tazz.
every time I'm here, I always talk Swift and the Suzuki range. So there is no doubt that it's a brilliant option. Replace Tazz. Look, I don't know. Tazz is 20 years old, just about.
Yes.
I'm not going to guarantee a Swift will last 20 years.
Anything's going to be an upgrade.
Yeah.
Anything's going to be an upgrade.
I mean, the original Tazz didn't have power steering, may or may not have air conditioning.
Yeah.
You're getting all of this. Airbags, they didn't even know how to spell that when that Tazz came out.
Yeah.
So you've got to look at all these sort of factors.
Yeah. But Mark,
No,
I
there's
think you
no.
can't just really
No,
agree
you
with
can't.
that.
I mean, it's the perfect choice.
Yeah.
Not-
So that was a
that's it.
simple, easy one. Why don't you all make your questions that easy for us? Just go by. That's cool.
Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Temba from Cape Town is in year 2 of a rent-to-buy plan on his 2022 Toyota Corolla Quest, but he's already planning ahead for a long-term Bakkie. He's after a 4x2 double cab that's reliable on gravel, comfortable for long trips, and affordable to maintain. He's looking at the 2020 Nissan Navara Stealth and 2022 Isuzu D-Max 1.9 LS. Which is the better choice, or is there another contender worthy a look? Mr. White?
Both are. I'd probably angle towards the 2022 Isuzu because of the warranty.
Yeah.
The warranty on the Stealth runs out at 2026. The Isuzu will run out at 2027. I think they've got 5 years. So I would probably angle towards the Isuzu based upon the warranty, because protection of your maintenance costs for me is still paramount. That's number one. If that's kind of obviously where he's putting his budget, because he's already given us 2 options that he's looked at. So there's not a lot more in that thing. Is Ford Ranger the only one that might come to mind, but that could also be like 2020, 2019 type of thing. So, but you can never go wrong with an Isuzu.
Yeah. I mean, they're
it.
good Bakkies. They're
They're
low
great,
risk in terms of
theft, and they're reliable.
Maybe we should keep quiet, because maybe the criminals will start saying, hang on, should we start taking some of these?
Yeah.
Do you agree with
no.
that?
I do, to a large extent. The one question I'm going to ask is, of course, the Navara is the 2.5 engine as opposed to the 1.9.
No, that'll probably be a 2.3 bi-turbo,
Okay.
that one, remember, because that's a Stealth 2020.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
But
just
So it
as
was
they
that-
changed.
Yeah,
Even
just
so,
as they
the
changed. Yeah. So he'll get a
1.9
2.3.
Yeah. The 1.9 Isuzu is, depending on what he's going to use it for, he could find it a touch underpowered.
Yeah, could do a bit more.
Yeah, that's my only sort of question mark on that Isuzu.
It's fine for your everyday use,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it's like when you're putting, 500 bricks in the back.
Correct,
They
yeah.
find it's a bit of a struggle
Yeah.
and things like that.
Guys,
But there
I'd
is-
also put him in a Triton.
Well,
Mitsubishi
Well,
Triton.
there's one other one I put there, is you can't leave out the GWMP series,
yeah.
Yeah.
which you'll get a much newer one. You'll probably get a 2022 model
Or
for that
even
kind of money.
3.
Yeah.
But he wants
Yeah.
to keep it for 10 years, Alan.
No, I don't see a problem with that. I mean, really,
Yeah.
if you maintain, it's like most vehicles, if you maintain them on a regular basis, the vehicles will last longer. If you ignore maintenance issues, it's like Mark just mentioned, you've got to have a car with some sort of warranty to
Engines, yeah.
cover the big expenses. But if you maintain your vehicle on a more regular basis, it will last. Because also what happens is when you send it in every 10,000 Ks, as an example for a service, who's ever maintaining it may pick up little things before they get to become big things. So it's imperative. Maintenance, although I know it's expensive, is actually cheaper in the long run if you maintain it, as opposed to, I'll leave it till it breaks.
But you know what it is,
I'll
guys?
leave it till it breaks. Don't worry.
It's a grudge purchase.
No, sure.
It's like insurance.
Yeah.
It's kind of insurance for your car, except, you've just got to spend that money on a service.
The older cars, they were simpler, they were easier to maintain. It was obvious the problems. Nowadays, there's too much software, there's too much electronic, there's too many screens, there's too many bits and bobs that can go wrong with a car. So when you do proper maintenance on the vehicles, you can catch those things early. All right, we're going to move on to our next question, which is from Oscar, and he's from Fluerhof. Where's Fluerhof? I don't know. And he's a first-time buyer, and he's considering a 2015 Honda Jazz 1.5 Sport Auto with 100,000 kilometers on the clock. His budget is 200,000 Rand, and he's unsure if buying with that mileage is wise, because he thinks 100,000 Ks on a Jazz is much.
Yeah.
Should he go for it or find something newer with fewer kilometers?
Adam, answer this quickly and let's move on.
100,000 kilometers on a Jazz.
Just run in, eh?
Yeah.
Just run in. No. That's absolutely nothing. Mark, do you?
No, look, Honda Jazz.
Any car,
Probably the
most cars nowadays.
Well, look, quite frankly, any Honda.
Yeah.
You know, the reality is they're one of the most reliable cars in the world.
Yeah.
And that's proven fact. So he wouldn't be buying incorrectly, but I mean, he could look around depending on, you know, with his 200, there's a few newer models maybe that he could get into.
This is a sport version, and remember they only brought out a few of them. It wasn't a lot of them.
If you go, you could maybe find a Swift.
Yeah.
Maybe not in auto, but manual, but could be like a 2022.
But I think a Jazz is a better car than the Swift. Long-term reliability.
Yeah.
I think they're fantastic cars. It's probably the best small car you can buy. The other thing I like about the majority of the Honda products is the demographics of people that buy them. You don't have boy racers buying those kinds of cars. They're generally owned by guys sort of
Like Alan.
you know,
Like Alan.
Alan's age.
Yeah. We won't mention
Not
Mr.
youngsters
White thing.
like Mr. White and myself. So, so those cars don't get hammered. They generally, whenever you see, most Hondas, if you look at them, their service books, you'll see they've always been serviced. They're looked after. It's that kind of demographic that buys the cars. So it's always even less risk when you're buying a Honda.
Yeah.
So if you see a tatty one, you don't even buy it. But if it's in reasonable condition, you know they're excellent cars. And it's the kind of car you can keep for your grandchildren. You know, really.
Yeah,
you
no,
can
it's
keep it for
there.
years, drive it.
But
pass
you know,
it down to
just
the
come back to the statement you made. If you see a tatty one, if you see a tatty one, buy it. It'll still be reliable.
Yeah, you must probably right. You must probably right. But that's a fantastic buy. 100,000 kilometers on a car like that is
Negligible.
not even negligible. It's nothing. Welcome back to Buyer's Guide. Kurt wrote in about his wife's Ford Fiesta automatic with 48,000 kilometers on the clock. He's concerned about the long-term reliability of the 1-liter EcoBoost engine, the same one often discussed on this show. He asks if the low-powered 74 kilowatt version is as troublesome as the higher-tuned EcoSport engine, and is whether changing the gearbox oil at 60,000 kilometers can help prevent issues. All right, let me ramble on a little bit about this.
Take the extra 5 minutes, Adam.
Yeah, I'm going to take the extra 5 minutes. The Ford EcoBoost engine, he's talking about the 1-liter 3-cylinder.
Yep.
Is not that bad engine. It's just that it needs a lot of maintenance. So let me give you an example. You've done 48,000 kilometers. You've had no problems with it because those problems sort of start to arise around about the 100,000 kilometers. And the majority of the problems with the engines are related to the wet belt. So if you don't know what a wet belt is, it's a cam belt that is inside the engine and it runs in the oil. So the oil runs on it. So what happens is that belt deteriorates and little particles of the belt disintegrate and they fall into the bottom of the engine. They get sucked up into the sieve of the oil pump. They block the oil pump. And eventually what happens is not enough oil feeding your turbocharger, feeding your engine, which can lead to either engine failure, turbocharger failure, and things like that. So how do you prevent that happening? The thing to do is to have your car regularly serviced. And Ford will tell you every 15,000 kilometers. I'm going to say shorten it, as I always say on this, every 10,000 kilometers. Ford recommended a replacement on that belt. If I remember correctly,
5
it's
years.
180,000.
Yeah, in 5 years.
No, it's 90,000 or 5 years.
So it used to be like 180. So now, if you change that belt at 90,000 kilometers, and unfortunately it's expensive to do that.
Yes,
it's
very
quite a complex
expensive,
job.
But
it's in the
32
region.
grand, I think, if I remember right, somewhere there.
Yeah, so aftermarket, I think we do them in our workshops for about 10, 12,000 rand.
Yeah.
They are expensive to change. So the maintenance costs are expensive on them. So if you do look after them and you do maintain them, then you can extend the life of those engines. The other problem with the Fiestas and the EcoSports, a lot of them don't have temperature gauges on them. So you don't know if you have a problem with, there's no low water level sensor, so you don't know if the water goes low. And you don't know if the car's overheating, so you can just be driving it and you can be killing the engine. Then we look at the automatic gearbox. It's a dual clutch transmission in that car, and they are known to be very expensive. Just to replace a clutch on that car can be like upwards of 60,000 rand, which to me is just downright stupid. To actually be able to have a small entry-level car that you must spend 60,000 rand on to change a clutch on it when it fails. That's just daft.
Most of that 60,000 rand is for the special tool you need to install that clutch.
No, I mean, I'm same with the belt too. You need tools.
Yeah. So I mean, I know that just to buy the tools to replace the clutch on that car is about 10,000-12,000.
Yes.
So you're going to be paying for that kind of thing. So the maintenance costs on them are expensive as hell. So in terms of should you keep the car? Yeah, sure, keep it. But remember, you're going to be paying at some stage when the clutch goes, and you normally find that as you're pulling off in the car, you're getting a vibration. That's indication that the clutch is starting to fail shortly. So save up some money for that.
Yeah, before you go away with all your... Don't stop rambling. He mentioned you by name here. Yeah, and again, Adam, this engine is prone to have injector problems, as you've mentioned.
Yeah.
What can I do to prevent or delay this matter?
So it's not only specific to that 1 liter Ford engine. All the new 3-cylinder engines and a lot of 4-cylinder engines nowadays are direct injector vehicles. The injectors tend to get a bit of dirt and clogging in them, and when that happens, you can have misfires, you can have problems with them. So I always recommend, it's like diesel cars. Every now and then you buy yourself an additive that you put in your fuel tank. It cleans the fuel lines, it cleans the injectors. That's really the only maintenance you can do. Maybe once in every 20,000 kilometers you buy yourself a fuel additive that you put in your fuel tank that runs through the fuel system and keeps things clean. So little things like that you can help to make the car a little bit more reliable. Interestingly enough though, I think Ford have acknowledged that this is a problem, and the newer engines that you will see in the 1 liter Puma don't have a cam belt anymore. They have a chain drive. And
that should have been the beginning, right at the beginning.
Well, I agree with you. I mean, it should have been done like that in the beginning, but obviously engineers got involved, and we know what engineers do.
But then they got to live up to their name, fix or repair daily. And finally, JP has had terrible luck with theft and hijackings of 2 Hiluxes which have gone missing in 6 months, and he's sworn off Toyota for good. I don't blame you, JP. He currently drives an Alfa Romeo Stelvio and loves it, but wants something more suited to light overlanding through to Lesotho, the Transkei, and the Karoo. He's torn between the hybrid BYD Shark for under R1 million or a 2022-23 Land Rover Defender D300 with around 50,000 kilometers on the clock for 1.4 million rand. With reliability, depreciation and theft risk in mind, which one makes the most sense? Okay, gentlemen, Alan, it looks like he just wants this too, but I'm sure we can find others.
Well, you know, the first thing is his refusal about Toyota, because the most obvious vehicle I can think of for what he wants would be a Prado.
So you can have another one start.
Which part of I want to stay away from Toyota you didn't hear?
The Prado is not as big a risk as the Hiluxes, is it?
No, it's just as bad.
Is it?
All of them, I'm afraid.
Because I'm saying that would, to me, for what he wants,
I agree with you.
Jumps out.
That's right.
As a vehicle.
Mark, sorry to jump in there. You're a BYD dealer. BYD dealer, that's a big word.
Build your dream.
Build your dream. Your impressions of the Shark, obviously you're going to tell us an incredible thing.
No, well, the first point is though one is a double cab, the other one is an
it's
SUV.
a luxury SUV.
So depending, it's a bit of a confusing one. But look, the Shark is phenomenal. The reality is, it does everything it's been said it does, and it does it. It is. We've done the off-road tests ourselves internally. It's very capable off the road. It's one gear, push a button and away you go. Where he'll save also is obviously depending on what his daily lifestyle is.
Yeah.
He can save a fortune on fuel because of the battery. Because it's a plug-in hybrid, you can choose between EV or HEV. And if you don't live too far from where you reside, you just pop it in EV and you go to work and back on EV. You start to save bundles of cash.
You probably forget you need to put
and then
gas
and I mean and you know, you're talking about Overland. They've done their homework. It
seems to be doing quite well in Australia. As well.
2,500 units a month they sell in Australia.
Wow.
Sharks.
Where's your BYD dealer?
Four Ways.
Four Ways. So maybe if you live in the Four Ways area and you want to see what this BYD Shark is about, pop into Mark White's
Even
BYD
if you don't
dealership.
live in the Four Ways area,
Yeah.
pop into Mark.
But the reality is, you know, again, he wouldn't go wrong with a Defender.
Yeah,
but
so
then you start to look at rands and cents if you want to. There's 400 grand difference.
Yes.
There's
It's
a lot
also
of money.
a 3-odd-year-old
opposed-
vehicle
Yeah,
as opposed to brand
and
new.
his depreciation, because he's going to do all these trips potentially, his depreciation on the Defender, when it gets to 100, people don't like Defenders with 100,000 Ks on
It's a
the
fantastic vehicle.
Oh, no,
I
but
love
listen,
the
it's
Defender.
proper.
So you've got two options here. Do you want a luxury premium SUV, or do you want a luxury premium
Yeah.
plug-in hybrid?
You know,
That can do 1,000 Ks on a tank.
Tank.
Is it?
And
you
let me
want-
tell you, I've tested it as well. And
Yeah.
as you said, I did the off-roading. Look,
if you want a
if you
hard
can't watch weight and
SUV,
depth, obviously, but any vehicle.
It's
you wanna-
worthwhile to
yeah.
have a look at. You know, I think if whichever route you decided, if you'd go to the BYD, you'd love it. If you went to the Land Rover, you'd love it. Depends what you need. It's like Mark says, you can get that vehicle if you're into camping and stuff like that, and you want roof dents, you want all that other stuff, you can put that on there. So you've got to decide, go and drive it yourself, and then you decide which one.
And the performance will, ask Alan. The
I'd put him in a
performance will blow you
Pajero,
away.
guys. I'd
Or
put
a
him in
Pajero.
Sport.
Or you
Instead
could
of a
take Seggy's advice and go for a 20-year-old vehicle and buy a Pajero. So we're going to end there. Right, that wraps up this week's episode. If you'd like your question featured, email buyersguide@ignitiontv.co.za and include a photo of yourself and, of course, the car you're talking about.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much for joining us.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Much appreciated.
Until next time, keep left, pass right, and please keep it safe on the roads.